Alright, let's talk about the state of play that just happened right here on the 12th of February 2025, or rather for those of us that are living in the future, the 13th of February. So, this has actually been a really cool state of play. They showed off a lot of good stuff, and personally I feel like that this state of play was kind of personally made for me, because I feel like almost every game sprung out as something that I personally wanted to play. So I thought, okay, let's actually sit through and talk about some of the games that are being shown, but also, describe some of the stuff that we've been shown as well. And first and foremost, we have Monster Hunter Wilds, which I am a Monster Hunter sicko and have been since Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, the PSP game. And I know a couple of people who have been around since the original Monster Hunter, so it really just goes to show the kind of companionship that you breed from a longest amount of time playing the same co-op games over and over again. And of course, Monster Hunter Wilds looks absolutely incredible, exceptional visually. The monsters look cool, and of course we do have some returning monsters from previous games, of course, making an appearance. But above all else, they also have actually shown off some details around what's going to be happening in the future. More specifically, here we have the first monster we're going to be seeing as part of the first title update to the game, Mizusune. And of course, there's going to be some additional quests as well. And of course, the game comes out 28th February 2025. So there's the pre-order bonus, the art book, and Mizusune and no, okay. Oh, maybe they show it a little bit later on. I could be completely missing that. The stuff about the title. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, event quests for both the first free title update and then the second free title update. So I love how they're specifying that it's free, because when it comes to Monster Hunter, most of the accessories that you put on your character and stuff like that are more sort of visual representations of your character are what is usually charged as DLC after the fact, and then have their own season passes at that point. But again, very nice to see, and of course it looks like there's going to be a lot more going on in the future. So here we have, so this is actually, I can't believe they're actually showing off Shinobi now, because that Sega logo, I was sitting there thinking to myself, is this going to be one of those Sega games that was announced quite some time ago that hasn't materialized yet? Because we have talked about stuff like Crazy Taxi and Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, and now to see Shinobi, and it looks so damn cool. The art style, the movement looks nice and solid. It just looks absolutely incredible in every sense of the word. And hopefully it plays the way that it looks, because if it does, this is easily going to be the best Shinobi of all time. But that being said, Shinobi has been a good franchise in the past, but I don't think that the franchise is going to hold up all that much nowadays in terms of the older titles. But this new title could really bring in some new fans, and I love that, especially in the state of play, we see a lot. So here we go, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. In the state of play, we do see a lot of old games get a lot of very nice, what's the word that I would use? A lot of love. And then here we have Sonic, the new Sonic racing game, Crossworld, I think it was called, if I'm remembering this correctly. Absolutely love it. I love me my Sonic kart races. I played all of them from the original, which was Sega and Sega and All-Star Racing Transformed, but the one before that was Sega something Racing. Sega All-Star Sega Racing or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it was something Racing. Then we had Racing Transformed, and then we had Team Sonic Racing, and now we've got Crossworlds. And just seeing all of the various Sega characters come together, race across various tracks and worlds using those rings that we saw in the Sonic live action movies. It's very nice to see those appear. So Sonic Racing Crossworld. So I love how originally it was sort of Sega and Friends, and now it's just straight up Sonic. And of course, wish listing now and signing up for the closed network test on the 21st of Feb, which is quite literally next week. So again, so far, like, everything that's been shown off, I absolutely love. And now we have another game from Bamco. What game was this again? I've forgotten. Oh, shoot. Now I know. It's yeah, Digimon. That's what this was. Yes. So we're getting a new Digimon story game after Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory. So since 2012, we've been getting some really good turn-based RPG Digimon games. So it's really cool to see that we're getting another one of those. But it feels like Hacker's Memory felt like it was tied to Cyber Sleuth for some reason. But now we've got Time Stranger, which hopefully will be wholly new and wholly unique. Very happy about that. And then we get Lost Soul Aside, which, my god, like, this game looks absolutely incredible. I'm looking forward to playing this game. I'm very happy that this game is coming out, and it looks as good as it does. The character designs look absolutely impeccable. The monster design looks great. The gameplay looks absolutely amazing. And it definitely feels like it really leans in on what kind of advertising campaign we saw back in the day with what was previously known as Final Fantasy Versus 13 going into Final Fantasy 15, where the main character just is able to move around really easily. Albeit that he's not using his weapons like Noctis did. But just looking at that very solid and yet very smooth moving capabilities, like just swapping between them, it looks really cool. So I'm very excited for this. Lost Soul Aside is going to be hopefully a great game. And also, I can't remember if they actually put a date on this game as well. Oh yeah, 30th of May 2025. And another thing that they've been doing a lot of in this state of play was they actually did put dates on things as well, which is really cool to see. So, moving on from that, the demo for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii is going to be dropping. Very nice. And also, Ichiban Kasuga is coming to Dave the Diver, which is, again, just insane to think about. The Yakuza franchise has really come a long way since Yakuza 0, and it's just incredible to see. Ichiban's holiday content pack coming in April of 2025, among other things. And then we have Splitgate 2, the alpha beginning in 27th of February. So, for those of you guys that don't know, Splitgate was supposed to be like a competitor to Halo at the time in which Halo Infinite came out. And honestly, like, this game did goddamn numbers. People loved it. Yeah. And so now we're getting Splitgate 2. WWE is dropping in, showing off the Island, which is the new mode for WWE 2K25, is it? Yeah. Or the new WWE 2K, I should say. At this point, I've kind of lost count on what the number is. But yeah, the island is supposed to be this online-only location. I just wish it didn't have to be online-only, but, you know, what can you do? That's just how things happen, I guess. But yeah, not much of a WWE guy, and this was actually one of the games I wasn't really all that high on, because I used to watch WWE back in the day, but I don't really watch it that much anymore, so my interest has dwindled and waned quite a bit. Next we have is Borderlands 4, and I really don't like, you know, the game being shown off, because I know I'm going to buy it, I know I'm going to play it, because Borderlands is Borderlands, and we all know how to Borderlands. So, as long as you ignore that the movie exists, and just continue to expect Borderlands to have tons of guns, psychos, and just a fairly alright story, because 1 had an alright story, 2 had a good time because of its villain, 3 was not that great, and Wonderlands was fine for all it's worth. So hopefully, 4 is going to be a bit more of a return to form of what, 2 was more than anything else, I feel like, because 3 and Wonderlands just feel like a bit of, I don't know, the quality waning a bit here. But also, while it says 2025 wishlist now, the fact of the matter is that there was a date given by Randy right here at the end of 23rd September 2025, which is again cool to see that we are also getting dates among other things. Hazelight shows off Split Fiction, which is supposed to be their next game, and of course, for those of you guys that don't know, Hazelight are the guys that make co-op games where you've got it pretty much it splits the game, like splits the screen into like a split screen, I should say. The use of split so many times, god damn it. But yeah, Split Fiction looks alright, like it looks interesting, don't get me wrong. I'm just wondering how they're really going to play up the various types of elements of gameplay that apparently people have already managed to play a little bit of, so interesting to see how that goes. And the game is dropping 6th of March 2025, so that's coming to PS5 of course. And of course there's very little talk of PSVR, but not for much longer. So we've got Supermassive Games is now going from their traditional using things like teens going to cabins to slasher horror tropes, and now leaning into hard sci-fi or sci-fi horror, so to speak. And I feel like sci-fi horror is just as plentiful as like the good old slasher flicks of yesteryear. So I'm interested to see how this game is going to play out, what it's going to be like, what is the story going to be like, is it going to be better than everything that they've done so far? Because again, while they are known for Until Dawn, which is one of their best games, and The Quarry, which is another one of their best games, in between those two, they had a bunch of games that were not particularly good in the form of the Dark Pictures anthology. Though some of them had good elements, but then I don't think people ubiquitously said any single one of them was particularly good, especially from not just a critical but fan lens as well. So hopefully we do get more of what we saw, albeit hopefully better, in the form of their next game being Directive 8020, which is the name of the game, and is coming out the 2nd of October. Like I said, dates all abound. Now, the next game that they have here is the new Five Nights game. I was very close to saying FNAF, but obviously, the name Fazbear definitely has a connotation to Five Nights. That being said, however, I'm not a Five Nights fan. This was definitely a massive dud in my opinion, because I just don't like FNAF. There are way too many FNAF games. There is lore in the games, but the thing is that as interesting as the lore is, it's just never going to get me to play the games. Sure, I'm sure there's going to be some games that I will play at some time in the not too distant future, but whenever that happens, it'll happen. It's just more out of morbid curiosity more than anything, because Five Nights has never been a particularly good game franchise. It's just been something that 5 to 7 year olds are just really, really into. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic is what we just saw right then and there. And then the next game that is shown off is actually a game that was shown off in the previous state of play. I have completely forgotten what this game is called. Oh, The Midnight Walk. The Midnight Walk. That is what this game is called. Yes, The Midnight Walk. And I love how they use the sort of stop motion animation with the sort of like clay created characters and world, and it looks really, really cool. Now you can play this both with or without VR regardless, so this is coming to PS5/PSVR 2. So again, having a PSVR 2 is completely optional, but looking at what we're seeing here, it looks like the kind of game that you would absolutely want to play. with PSVR 2. Just look at it, man. But yeah, the Midnight Walk, that's coming 8th of May, PS5 and PSVR 2, of course, from the developers at Moon Hood. Next we have is Darwin's Paradox, which now this one very much feels a lot like, well, gameplay wise and theme wise feels a lot like an Oddworld game, where you've got a bunch of like machinations that are trying to kill you as you control an octopus through these platforming sections. And while that seems like a cool idea initially, it then gives off like some vibes of like an Inside or what was the other game that was made by the guys made by Inside? Yeah, I forgot what it was called. The black and white one where you control a little boy. Starts with N, I think. Anyway, I'll just say Inside for now. I'm pretty sure that the game is like just at the tip of my tongue, but I just can't quite remember it. Then we get a Warriors game that plays a lot like, well, Warriors, this is what the game is called, but it looks and plays a lot like what feels like a Vampire Survivors version of Warriors. And thinking about it now, the 1 versus 1,000, it feels like it would absolutely work. Because the thing is that when I thought about Warriors games, I realized how like the Warriors franchise just isn't going to be the way that it once was, especially during the PS2 era. So for them to go in a completely different direction and actually take the 1 versus 1,000 and do it in this way is really, really cool. And then this game here is Onimusha 2. Yeah, I've completely forgot about that. Very cool to see Onimusha actually come back. So Samurai's Destiny coming May 23rd May 2025. Again, dates on everything. But also they do then show off the next mainline Onimusha game. And Onimusha games usually have had their own flair to them. Like each game has had a different feel to it. So the Way of the Sword looks very, very cool. Like without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, just looking at this sort of more darker, no, the locations have just less light on it, and it just looks a lot cooler. The locations feel a lot more fresh, and I feel like, you know, given everything that we're seeing with samurai games especially, I feel like Assassin's Creed Shadows really has its work cut out for him, when it looks like just about every single game that, you know, that has this kind of feel towards classic Japanese architecture from the feudal Japan era. Like, I feel like every other game is doing it better than Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is actually really, really funny to say that, like, hey, these are all games that look really cool and I want to sit down and play, but then the problem becomes, oh, but I know there's one that I definitely do not want to touch. Yeah, so Onimusha Way of the Sword. Then we get Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, and my god, do they show off everything about this game in this one small snippet trailer. Because they talk about a lot of things. We've got Revolver Ocelot, we've got Volgren, we've got all of the characters pretty much appearing, including villains. We got Ava, the boss. Who else do we have? Like, here we go. So now we see kind of just all of the villains and all the various boss fights. So we've got the End, who can die by old age, which is just so damn interesting. The Pain, who is completely covered in bugs. Then we've got the Fear. Who else do we have here? Oh, the Fury. Never forget the Fury. That was an interesting boss fight. We have the Sorrow, which was more of a... and then we have the boss. There's just so much going on in this trailer. Revolver Ocelot, just like major plot points right here and there. Like, I'm not going to go into... That's the Shago Hard right there, for example. This is like what happens pretty much near the end of the game there. But like, yeah, without giving out or away too much context, like there's just so much going on. Volgren, like, oh man. again, they just show off a lot in this trailer, and some people might say, oh, that's too much that you're showing off trailers, but we actually have a date here, the 28th of August 2025. Absolutely insane. And of course, we also get the Ape Escape mode from the original Metal Gear Solid 3. Love it. Like, I just love the reference. But the and more after the Ape Escape reference, I wonder what that's gonna be. I really, really do wonder what the hell that's gonna be. Now, this is a trailer for Hell Is Us. This one is not quite on my radar as much. There looks like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, but I'm probably gonna wait for trailers because I think they're just very much leaning into the weird of what this game is, and I'm not truly sure about what it is, if I'm being completely honest. But it looks damn cool, and I feel like there's no way we can't not say that. But it's going to be coming 4th of September 2025. That is Hell Is Us, coming to PS5. Now next we have, so NeoWiz and Round 8 Studios. This is the DLC for Lies of P Overture, I think is what the DLC was called, because I only just watched all of this about, I want to say, an hour ago, so I'm trying to like remember everything that I had seen because I didn't write down notes and I was driving at the time, so take it for what it's worth. Lies of P is the closest thing to a Bloodborne game that we've ever gotten, if I'm being completely honest, both in terms of the speed of the combat, but also the gothic horror of like some of the enemies, the actual combat design. It just all really, really feels like it. It's very, very close to that of what we would like to have seen from another Bloodborne, but this is the best thing that we're gonna get. Because let's be real, a Bloodborne sequel is just not happening, or a Bloodborne remaster. But here we go, Lies of P Overture, coming summer 2025. Then we have a Pixel Junk game. But the thing is that the game is made by the Pixel Junk guys, it's just not a Pixel Junk game. And I wasn't too sure what to make of this whole aesthetic that they've got going on here. But sure enough, we get to see the name of the game, because it looks like it's something that's made in Dreams, only to realize, oh, the game is called Dreams of Another. So it feels very avant-garde, and I'm not too sure what to make of it, but this was also another dud for me personally until we see more. But there we go. This is the second time we've seen the PSVR 2 logo, which is interesting to think about. But moving on from that, and I guess he's explaining a little bit, but I kind of just skipped past this a little bit myself personally. And then we get Days Gone Remastered, which, Jesus Christ, like, I know this was like rumored a long time ago, but this just, you did not need to do this. There was absolutely no need to do this. All right, just leave it where it belongs. You just did not need to make it. Why on earth does this exist? Who the hell knows? It was definitely on the weaker end of the Sony first party games that we got back in the day, and is a game that we're never going to get a sequel to, I don't believe. But obviously Sony Ben did try to pitch it before, and PS5 version gets an upgrade if you have the PS4 version, and it costs you $10, because obviously they're not going to give it to you for free. So yeah, coming April 25th April, okay, 2025, includes some the DLCs as well. Is this what I think it is? I don't remember. Okay. I didn't... Wait, what? I completely missed this when I watched this for the first time. Because I was like, why are there Nikke characters in a PlayStation thing? Sure enough, we're getting Nikke outfits in Stellar Blade? What? Okay. June 2025. We're getting Nikke DLC. That's crazy. Okay, Nikke is a mobile game. I think they're made by the same company. I could be wrong. I completely forgot, but that's insane. That's cool. So yeah, game catalog stuff they're throwing up, which is stuff like, Jedi Survivor, Top Spin, 2K25, and Lost Rage, Bloom and Rage, coming to PS Plus at launch, so I think that's one of the main games that they're trying to really push on the 18th of Feb. In addition to which, they also showed of Blueprints, which is also coming. It's like a puzzle game that's coming to PlayStation Plus at launch in spring. And Abiotic Factor. That took me a second to pronounce. I was just like looking at that being like, oh man, that's something. But also the Classics catalog really piqued my interest with Armored Core 1, Armored Core 2, and Armored Core 3. So Project Phantasma and Master of Arena, I think it's called. But also we got Patapon 3 as well. Very excited for Patapon 3. And then we have... Now this game, there's a lot of action games coming out, and I'm very, very excited for this one. In addition to a lot of the other action games that we've seen up until now. I'm trying to remember what this game was called though, because I know it looks really, really cool, and I'm very interested in it. The monsters look cool, the action looks absolutely sick, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to put the name of the game in the timestamps, but so I'm not going to dwell on it too much. But everything just looks really, really damn cool. The enemies, the fighting, it feels very Souls-like, but is it? The voice acting seems incredibly solid, even though it's incredibly British, but that, you know, in this type of situation, it really does feel like it hits. And the boss fights and attacks feel like they are kind of from Nier in a way. So it feels like Nier, Stellar Blade, and like a Souls-like game put together. And I wonder if it's going to actually add up to be a good game. Tides of Annihilation, there we go. In development for PS5, just says to wishlist now, which I am certainly going to be doing after I finish recording today. Then we have this, what was the game again? This one also was another one that I was interested in, but in a way, I thought that this was going to be a multiplayer heavy title, but maybe like this might be one of those misses for me as well. I'll just have to wait and see until this game actually comes out. Metal Eden, there we go. I don't think I would have been able to remember that, but yeah, 6th of May 2025. Again, dates all around for each thing. Build a Rocket Boy. I feel like I should know this game. Again, oh yeah, this is the thing that was made in another game. Made by some ex-Rockstar devs. Mind's Eye, yes, this was Mind's Eye. Though I'm not too sure what the hell to make of it. Again, there really isn't much to kind of go off of in terms of like actual context to what we're being shown. But apparently this was made inside of another game, so interesting to see this actually coming out summer 2025. And of course, Leslie here is the game director of Mind's Eye, and it feels very story heavy in its concept and gameplay, and it does lean into its GTA roots quite a bit, it feels like. But again, we won't know until the game actually drops and we get to see more. And then finally, we get the last thing, I want to say, the last announcement, and it's a first party announcement. This is a do I want to say spiritual successor? It's built on the base of what Returnal was. It's called, I think, Solus or something to that extent. Solas? Gotta look it up. It was announced. No, I can't seem to find the name without skipping ahead, so I'm just gonna skip ahead. Saros, there we go. And so there's this whole thing about, you know, come back stronger. And so I'm like thinking, okay, maybe they're kind of taking the Returnal aspect and making you stronger as you move forward. So I feel like the roguelike type of aspect, and of course this game is coming in 2026, they're taking the roguelike aspects of games but doing the Hades treatment, where every time you die in a run, you will actually get a little bit stronger each time, and eventually be able to succeed in runs and actually get better at the game, which I thought was actually kind of the most genius way to handle a roguelike. But yeah, that right there is the only first party, I think, thing we've seen in this entire presentation. But of course, Saros is the big thing, the big finisher here. So all in all, we've got Borderlands 4. I'm excited for that. Shinobi, I'm very excited for that. Saros, I'm excited for that. I'm pretty much just talking about stuff that I'm excited about. So Sonic Racing for sure. Lost Soul aside, Directive 8020, Warriors Abyss, Metal, actually also Warriors Abyss I think came out today as well. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater for sure. And then what else do we have here? Onimusha for sure. Lies of P Overture, yes, and Monster Hunter Wild. So they did show off a good amount of games, and I think that this is a lot of stuff to be excited for and about. So if you're a PlayStation player, look forward to a lot of these games that are being shown off here. But with all of that being said though, let me know what you guys think about all of this entire presentation and everything going on in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I did talk about games a little bit more in detail than I usually would, but with all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.